With that, we're going to keep rolling to our latest release, Infrastructure as a Service with Nathan Dragun and Future Tech Holdings. Take it away, Nathan.
Hello, hello. All right, let's see if we can. Oh, host disabled, so I need the sharing thing.
All right, go for it.
All right. So we got the screen up?
Yep.
Perfect. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys. I was just reflecting on this. I'm thinking, why am I so excited? And I just realized, there's just something fun about, kind of creating things and kind of coming up with new solutions to problems that are out there. And I think that's why with this, it's so much fun because we kind of really started finding some areas that we can kind of help the ecosystem, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about. So let's see, do I have to tab over? There we go. Okay, cool. So a little bit about us. If you haven't heard about Future Tech Holdings, we are a for-profit organization that has decades and decades of experience working with enterprise equipment, gear, all kind of fun solution-y stuff like that. So when we were approaching the Filecoin ecosystem last July, when we first came in, it was really about, okay, how do we do some really cool stuff to scale, but also make sure that it's economically and environmentally sustainable in that regards. And with that today, we're going to be talking about a product that we just launched on the 12th called Overlord, and I'm kind of calling this the community edition of the of what I'm sharing with you all here. So first off, kind of today's plan, where I'm looking at here is, I want to talk about the problem, what we're looking at trying to solve, the solution we came up with, and then really how it ties back into the community as a whole. Because I really see these things as being kind of different components, and it's kind of cool when you bring the whole picture together. So first off, the big problem that we're trying to handle here is dealing with node operations and management. So first off, right now there's huge barriers of entries for SPs coming in. I'll get into that in a second. There is also the concept that managing things is pretty complex and scary if you're not a very technical person. So if you need to go into nodes right now to do management, it requires experience, probably knowing Linux, command line, being familiar with doing screen, tmux, all these things. And then there's the concept of what happens if I type the wrong command and blow up my entire node, or send all my fill to some random person and they just became a millionaire or something, right? So it's pretty scary for the layman person to get involved in this. And then lastly, there's really kind of a lack of options if you're looking for a non-self-hosted solution. So these are really the areas that we're saying, okay, I think we can make a difference. So barriers of entry, I want to identify this as first off, fill acquisition. That's a barrier. Equipment purchasing, as well as the asset depreciation components of it. Then there's the monthly equipment operational costs, operational expenses for maintaining that equipment. And then of course, there's also on the business personnel side. One thing that people forget though is that there's also the training time component. And I'm calling that as being understanding and learning the Filecoin nuances, understanding the economics, and also the technical needs. So when we're saying training time, we're talking about bringing anybody into the team. So let's say you're a brand new team and you're standing something up. Everybody still has to learn these components in one way or another. So there's a really cost associated with this every time you are onboarding more people onto your team. So these are all issues that Filecoin storage providers focus or face when they're coming into the ecosystem, and they have to focus time and resources to tackling these burdens and barriers. So I like to look at it from a group component to say, all right, on the left hand side, we have business operations, and that pretty much focuses on the areas of the fill acquisition, the business personnel component for operational expenses, salaries, yada, yada, yada. The training time for them to learn on the business side. And then we have the technical side, which is all the equipment, the operational costs, the people managing them, and the training time associated with all the technical components. So with Overlord, we're coming in and we're basically saying, all right, we're going to take care of all the technical side, wipe all that off the books, so you don't have to worry about those expenses, those pieces, and then people that are business focused can just go focus on getting the fill acquisition, bringing on people in the team, just chasing deals down. So figured this kind of helps visually because there's a lot of moving pieces in our ecosystem. So, all right. So from a solutioning standpoint, we've got Overlord, and its purpose is to provide infrastructure hosting, management of the node, real-time information from those nodes, provides a simple UI interface for it, and it's all remote access. So it's all these things really kind of combining together. It's taking that burden off of you. So the node management component kind of gets rolled into this automatically. So you don't have to worry about it, and everything's interfaced through a web interface. I won't be showcasing it during this presentation, but happy to chat, set something up, and we can dive into that more. So benefits we've got from this is that on one hand, we're eliminating all the technical operations overhead for SPs coming in. It's really simple and quick to deploy. I think we could probably do a new node in a matter of like 5 minutes at standing that up. And then the most awesome piece that I find is that people are able to get real-time information about their nodes, do analysis and management of it very simply and remote. We do have the ability to also import nodes as well into our infrastructure. So we actually have, I think we're up to seven, maybe 8 SPs now are hosting with us. We have like another 2 that came on since launch on the 12th. So part of that and the procedures to say, okay, well, what do we do for existing nodes? So we've got a process of being able to ship that data, whether it's physically, SneakerNet, where it's mailed or shipped to us, or doing it across the internet. So we're able to import from that regard as needed, or stand up new nodes. All right. So community value. This is kind of where we're looking at, all right, so how does this help our whole ecosystem as a whole? How does everybody win? Because honestly, we're all in this together, and we believe that it's not just by one of us being successful that we're gonna win, but by everybody working together and helping each other succeed. That's really, I think, at the heart of Web3, where Web2 wasn't is important, but Web3 it's pretty much critical. So yes, in a nutshell, Overlord, we're cutting that barrier of entry for SPs coming into the ecosystem by half. So by Overlord existing, we're going to be helping more SPs come up into the community and spinning up faster. And what's nice with our infrastructure as a service is that we are appearing with multiple community projects already to natively have access. So for example, there are, I was trying to use an example that's not too out there. All right, so for example, coming down the pipeline, we've got computation. I forget what you're calling it, but basically, like, was it
compute over data?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. So we got compute over the data that's coming down the pipeline, and there's a few people that are trying to tackle that. But what's something that people need to keep in mind is that if you're running a node, if you're going to integrate with any of these, you have to install this additional software on top of it. You've got to configure it. You've got to do all these pieces. So with our infrastructure offering, it's already bolted in there. So there's no additional learning that needs to happen. You can just tie into it and then just go off and sell that to your clients, to your customers, without having to worry about those things. Even integrating with third-party ceiling as a service components, so everything's just nice and smooth. You don't have to worry about any of those things. So this all helps these SPs get up quick, started, and not have to worry about those pieces. As a result of this is going to bring in more real data. Now, I know we've kind of heard this, and that's kind of the push, but what I mean by this is that our focus and our target audience is not the technical SPs. We're trying to find the business-focused SPs, because we recognize that they have strong skill sets and talent in going out and closing deals. So we're looking at empowering them to go out and make those deals and bring the data in, and then taking care of that on the back half. So this all translates into people that are good at sales, going out and selling stuff, bringing it in, and then it just jumps onto the infrastructure for Overlord, which is then distributed globally, obviously. And then everybody wins, we grow. And then global acceptance. So I believe that the more SPs that we're getting in, the more people are going to be hearing about it. And as a result, it's just going to become almost like a household name. So I kind of threw global acceptance into there. So in summary, there's a lot of barriers that exist currently in the ecosystem. Second, we're looking at removing those barriers, which is going to save them tons of time and money. That's actually a piece that I didn't put in here that I will just share a little bit more. So we're talking about savings for new SPs probably easily in $100,000 coming out of the gate. So instead of having to dump all this capital and cash up front, they can just grow as they need on demand and put that capital towards going out and pursuing deals, instead of having to sink it into an equipment that's going to have a shelf life of a couple of years, and all those maintenance components. So that's where that time and money savings comes in. And of course, as we mentioned before, Overlord's objective is really connecting in with the community, bringing the ecosystem together. So all right, so if you'd like to get a hold of me, hopefully these links aren't too small, but we've got LinkedIn, website, and our email and Twitter if you want to get a hold of us. So
all right, Nathan, 2 quick questions from the chat, and then we'll get you out of here. One, can you stand up new nodes in any other locations? And do you have a specific geographic or vertical focus as you look at your operations?
Great questions. So I didn't touch on it too much here, but one of our long-term goals is to build smart green data centers that aren't reliant on the primary grid as a data source, and we want to replicate that around the world globally. So in the near term, we are currently located in the North American continent, but our plan is to have sites globally around the world, so we can truly embrace that Web3 ideology of global distribution. So we're headed down there. We're going that way. And if there are any people that want to do things in a certain area, I'd love to chat, because I think it just comes down to connecting with that need. So if there's a need, let's make something happen.
All right. Thank you so much. Wait, that's my Slack. Wrong share. All right. Thank you, Nathan. Looking forward to more updates as Overlord continues to grow.